Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Some Reflex Sit Down. If this is the first time you're joining, this is a weekly video series I do where I sit down and I answer the questions around health, fitness, wellness, mindset, nutrition, and how do we just optimize our health and move us one step closer to being in the top 1% of health for our age and getting the most out of life because it just spills over into every other area of your life. I like to explain it like this. Imagine that you've got a glass, like a glass of water, in the center of the table, and that glass represents your health, and the water that you put into it represents your energy and your focus and your vitality. And of course, as you keep filling the glass, it gets to the top. And then what happens when you keep pouring in? It spills out over where? Into the other areas of your life. And that's why I love what I do, because it has such a dramatic impact on all areas of your life when you focus on this thing about optimizing it. So I wanted to take a slightly different approach this week to answering the questions and give you an idea of what I do to reflect on myself, and it might inspire you to give you some ideas as to not just listening into how questions get asked and answered, but to give you an idea as to how I reflect each week on what it is that I'm doing, I'm done, and getting closer to where it is that I'm aiming for right now. So this is some of the questions that I ask myself. And this one is around personal growth check-in. What's one area of your life where you've noticed real growth or improvements this week, and how are you planning to build on it next week? So, if you've been listening to me for a while, whether it's on my podcast, the Rob Evans 365 one, or the Mental Toughness and Body Show, available for free wherever you download your podcast, for almost up to 4,000 podcasts in total now, then you'll know that this day, Sunday, is I should say Happy Australia Day as well. For those, I know it's controversial for some, but I'm proud to be an Australian, irrespective of the day. Sunday is the day where I use it to reflect on the week that was, and then plan out what it is that I'm going to do for the rest of the week, as in like next week. So when I'm this time next week, what is it that I really want to have achieved? How did I go with last week? Am I proud of those achievements? Did I do it all? Did I not do anything? Why didn't I do those things? Put them in for this week. And then what am I going to do to continue to move forward? Because that's how I achieve the growth. Now, I haven't done it for today yet because this is the last thing that I do. I do get up and I do my workout. I have breakfast, fuel myself. I go for a 5 kilometer walk. I take care of some other things that I need. I record a couple of podcasts, and then I do this. And I've been really busy this morning, just getting things done. And so this is something that I do a little bit later today and into tonight as well. So let's go back to this. An area of your life where you've noticed real growth or improvement this week. I think this week it has been around relationships and the growth of those relationships. I come from a place of how do I authentically always show up for people in my life, whether it's my clients, or for myself first, for my clients, for my daughter, for my friends and business colleagues and so forth. Making sure that I'm always showing up authentically, because if you imagine this, if you're faking who you are, then at some point you come unstuck, right? Because people are like, oh, you were just being that way to get something out of me or come across a certain way. But if you always show up authentically, then it's not a show. Like, you're just always showing up as you. And this is something that I toiled with a lot, particularly with social media side of things. You'd see what other people are doing, and you get caught up in the whole they're better than me and I'm not good enough and all that kind of stuff. This was like probably a decade or so ago. And what I realized that I needed to do, don't try and be someone else ever. Just be the best version of you. Use those other people for some ideas and inspiration and that kind of stuff, but don't try and be someone else. It's never going to work. You've got to just be the best version of you, the authentic version of you, and then that will be different. And that's great, right? When I've had staff work for me, like as trainers and that kind of stuff, I'm not looking for somebody that is me. I want them to be excited and passionate and energetic and so forth, but I don't want them to be me, because it's about bringing something different to me, to my clients and stuff. So, well, part of me, Definitely relationships. I think this week I've been working hard for probably the last 18 months or so on ensuring that I add as much value as I can to everybody that comes into my life, and had some really big impacts this week. I noticed that in a coaching session, I've had this is the third thing that's happened over the last probably 2 months where I've been like interacting with somebody and noticed that something's not quite right. And this happened yesterday when I was coaching a client on Zoom, and we had a conversation, and I was asking a few questions, and they kind of just passed over things that, everything's okay. And I said, hang on a second, come back to, this, and I won't go into what it was. And I said, right. I said, we need to stop this session right now. And I said, you need to get to the hospital. Simple as that. Of course, they didn't want to do that because, they had tasks to do, et cetera, et cetera. I said, I don't want to be on this call in a week's time and me just waiting for you because you're dead on the floor and you haven't done it, and you're hovering above yourself saying, oh yeah, Rob was right. I can't connect on this meeting right now. So bottom line is, I convinced them because they're in a different state. I convinced them to get to hospital, and they've actually got a serious condition that they're home now. So they spent overnight in hospital being treated and fully checked out, and they've identified what the problem is, and it's going to require follow up with a specialist as well as multiple medications to fix things. And for me, this is just about, so I was keeping in touch with them all overnight and early this morning as well. And they're just so grateful. They've said you've gone so above and beyond what it is that I would expect. But that's kind of what you get when you're dealing with me. It's like I'm all in, right? And so I think that that's just one example yesterday, but there have been several examples this week with I've just been focusing on the connection. I'll give you this tip. When you're with people, be present, right? One of the examples this week, I got an invitation to go to the Australian Open Tennis with a really great friend of mine. We've been friends for like 18 years this year. We don't catch up that often. We stay connected on social media and stuff, but we don't actually get a chance to catch up that often. But when we do, it's always like, best friends catching up sort of thing. It's a really cool experience. And it's like you're just continuing a conversation from where you were last time almost. And, those relationships that you have, where you're good friends with people. And so we went to the tennis. I hardly saw any tennis because we were just, we were engaged in the conversation and just the active listening and stuff. And I think certainly with my young daughter Liv, this is something, and my oldest daughter too, and just making sure that life is really short, and we don't have that many opportunities, really, if you think about how busy we are in life, to really have an impact on people. And I really like that word. How do you show up and have a greater impact in the work that we're doing? And obviously, I run a business and stuff. Not everybody runs a business, but it's how do you have an impact on the people that are around you? Well, the people that I spend time with, they really recognize my kindness, my authenticity, and just about everybody says, "You're such a good listener." I really felt heard. And over the past week, gosh, if I told you everything that I did on a day-to-day basis, you'd be like, wow, I don't know how you do that. Because there's some really, really painful parts in some of the connections that I have because it's to do with Liv's legacy work. But I know what's important for me to make a difference for. If it can be a global difference, then fantastic. If I can impact one person, and so I've had an interaction also this week with two young girls that are really really suffering with their eating disorders, and I've connected with them and really had a big impact on them. And we're going to do something to continue to support them to make a full recovery and go on and live these amazing lives. And they said to me that we feel really supported, we feel heard, and we feel safe. And I think that's also something that we often take for granted. And for me, it's very easy because I just show up as me, and I keep improving myself every day. I'm looking for ways to how do I just become a better human and live. And my elders have had a massive impact on that. Um, and I'm grateful for that. So that's probably the big thing this week in terms of how am I planning to improve that next week. It's just continue to show up and just continue to think about how can I add more value to people? What can I do? How can I keep pushing myself? So and how do I keep learning? Right? What's a challenge you faced this week, and um, how did you flex your mindset or strategy to overcome it? So I just mentioned there about some of the stuff with my daughter's legacy work. One of the challenges that I have with that is whenever there is a media event or some type of event which involves me going maybe really, really deep, and these two young girls I was talking about, um, that happened this week. It was also last week as well, and it involved this week, in addition, about 90 minutes of conversations with the media. And what that does to me is I never know exactly. Nowadays, it's about 24 hours, but within 24 hours of me going really deep with this stuff, it has this impact on me that's kind of like a crush. And it just sucks all the energy out of me. And I'm just exhausted. And I guess it's the emotional impact that just flows over to have a physical impact on me. And it normally shows up within about 24 hours. And I never know when it's going to be. It's not like there's a time that says, all right, set an alarm for 3 hours time because it's going to come. And it just shows up. And it did show up about 4 hours, yeah, about 4 hours after, the conversations. And I was just zonked. And what I've learned now in terms of how to manage that, I can't do anything about it. It's not a case of where I can say, okay, just push through. Me being me, I always try that, and then I realize, oh, okay, Liv's Liv's shown up with a wheelbarrow full of stuff, and I just need to stop. Like I can't work. I just need to take a break. And so what I'll do is I'll have a break. I might try and take a nap because I'm physically exhausted, and I just have to be kinder to myself and know that, okay, it's here now. It's not going to last for days, but it is going to last for a period of time. And sometimes can be a couple of hours, sometimes it can be 4 hours. In this particular instance, I think it was about 2 hours where I'm like, all right, I just need to, it was really hot as well. And so that probably had an impact. And I just stopped and had a break and laid on the floor, try to have a sleep. I laid in my studio floor on a nice comfy mat. Milo the dog, he was on one side, Whiskers was on the other side. And I just took some time out. And then after that, um, I do need to download a little bit. So whether that is recording a podcast, talking about a challenge, or calling like my best friend and having a conversation with her about what's been going on for me. And when you've got those right people around you, I posted a podcast today on the Mental Toughness and Bodies Show, episode 1501, which is called the special people in your life. And I'm lucky to have like a really great friend that I can call, and they check in. They knew what was going on for me that day and said, like, how is that landed for you? And I said, yeah, I'm not great right now. And we spoke a few hours later, and it was, yeah, really quite beautiful to be able to just get things out of your head and have somebody else listen to you, because I know I listen really actively to somebody. And you know what? Sometimes, again, Liv was a, a great teacher in this. Sometimes you just need to sit. When somebody loses someone in their life, it's not words, it's just being there. And this is the thing about listening. as well. Just being there, not being distracted, no devices, anything like that, but just being there and being quiet and just allowing someone to speak can be a really great gift because we want to jump in with a solution, and people aren't looking for solutions unless they ask for it. They just want to be heard. And I think that's been a powerful reminder for me this week. Sorry, let me just make my screen a bit brighter. The sun's out. It's hard to read. All right. What's one piece of advice or insight you encountered this week that inspired you to take action, and how are you implementing it into your daily routine? Don't know that there was any advice as such. Well, actually, that's not true. Let's go with my Friday night coaching. So I have coaching with my coach on a Friday night. It starts at midnight Friday night after a huge 2 days and goes till 1 or 1, sometimes 1:30. I didn't get to bed till 2 a.m. and I got to be up in less than 5 hours to work a busy Saturday. And so I asked a question of my coach around the stuff that I'm doing with my daughter's legacy and that kind of stuff. Now, he's very focused on ensuring that I remain focused on my business and that, because obviously my daughter's legacy, it changes lives, but it doesn't change my bank account, what I'm doing with my business. So it is a refreshing reminder of to hang on, stay focused on what's important to you. Now, obviously, the legacy stuff is very important to me, but I guess what it did do was inspire me to perhaps put that different focus back into my business. Now, live stuff is not something that I do every day. It's not necessarily something I do every week. I mean, there's normally media every week. There was 2 lots of media last week. I never know what's going from week to week, whether there will be something this week. I don't know exactly what, but there will be something. And so we just continue on. And as I'm required to get involved with certain things, then I'll say, okay, does this require my attention? Does it deserve my attention? And how much attention does it require? And where am I going to put some time aside for that? But it was a poignant reminder of, hang on, yeah, make sure that you keep moving your business things forwards, which I'm very focused on that as well. But that was important. And also my best friend up on the Gold Coast, she's very inspiring to me as well. I know we inspire each other. We have conversations every day, multiple times a day. Sometimes it's hours at night time when we're both kind of debriefing and working out, okay, what's next for both of us. And it's a really unique friendship because we're just so driven to drive each other, and like she inspires me and to keep on moving as well. And I know that I provide a tremendous amount of support and inspiration to her as well. So that's really cool. And so I guess probably those things have been what's come to my mind. And in terms of implementing into my daily routine, I already have such a structured, successful routine. I think we can become complacent. And again, the stuff with my coach, it's like, all right, the this week has been actually, I'll flow into the next question. So let me come to this next question, which is, what's one thing that you can do next week to push yourself? Just I'm going to answer this in two ways because it's two parts to how I would look at this. Push yourself just 1% closer to the healthiest, strongest version of you. So I want to answer this in two parts. So the one thing that I can do better this week is my growth. You can have so much success and so much growth, and however you identify with that, a lot of people say, well, it's bank account, net wealth, that kind of stuff. I mean, for me, that's always growing. Sometimes in the background, sometimes it's like, well, it's always growing in the background in terms of investment strategy and stuff. But it's like, what am I doing to bring more income into that chain, more wealth, etc.? How do I? And that for me, that stems from what am I doing to add value to my clients? Now, you can get to a certain level. I picked up some clients this week and had really big impact I'm having for them already, and it's easy to become complacent with your personal growth. And here I'm talking about, am I taking steps every day to work with my coach, a program, and to do that? And what I found in this past week, even though I've done a couple of days of it, I haven't done it every day. And I know when I do it every day, I know that I'm really focused. My schedule is also super busy. So tomorrow, for instance, is a public holiday. So what do most people do on public holidays? Well, they've closed their business, et cetera, et cetera. I have 15 client appointments tomorrow, and I think I have 12 of those back to back from 6 a.m. So from 6 a.m. till about 12:30 or 1 p.m., I think I'm going to confirm those appointments after this. I am back to back, no break. So one, I've got to have my food prepared, I've got to have my snacks prepared, etc., so that I can still deliver my results to my clients, but also not look after myself as well. And so because I am so busy, I've got to find a better time, because first thing, which would be ideal for me, I'm working with clients from early in the morning, from like 5:30, something like that, and say, well, you can get up at 5 and do half an hour of that. I'm going to have a look at that this week. I've been trying to more optimize my sleep at the moment, because I've had 2 nights where I've had less than 5 hours, and that makes it tough on me. But that's in the personal development space, where I've allowed that to slip a little bit this week, and that needs to get back on track to 7 days, not just the couple that I did. I've done 2 or 3 days this week. It's like, come on, Rob, what are you doing? Because that is what's created me to get to the success. And then once you get to the success, you kind of think about, oh yeah, I'm complacent, I'm doing really well. So yeah, I don't have to worry about doing that anymore. But never forget how you got here, what got you here, and keep on moving with that. And the second part, in terms of the health side of things, because of I won an Australia Day Award, Citizen of the Year this week. I went to the tennis. Because of a couple of things that happened this week, it just threw my schedule out, and I missed a workout. So my steps have been really good still, but I missed a strength workout. And so I need to make sure that I keep doing that. Another thing that I want to do this week is do more of a HIIT type cardio session, which won't be long. It'll only be about 15 minutes. I'm just going to do it on the treadmill. And so like flat to incline kind of thing, like 2 minutes on, 1 minute off sort of thing. And I'm going to incorporate that this week to just help give my cardiovascularly a little bit of a boost. I think there would be a couple of other things that I could do as well, but my schedule is just so hectic at the moment. I only want to do like one thing new at a time, to make it doable. And I think that's a key takeaway when you are implementing change. Don't try and change everything all at once, because you're setting yourself up for potential failure. Yeah, will you get faster results if you do everything at once? Yeah, but if what I want to do is implement something. So even like this, as I take a drink, most people's water intake is not great. So why don't we just focus on that this week? This is 800 mils. Most people drink, maybe 600 mils or less. It's like, all right, let's get in one of these a day for the next 7 days. Well, then let's take it up to 1 liter. And let's do that for the next 7 days. And then let's go up to 1.5. Let's do that for 7 days. And let's reassess, how easy was that? How difficult was that? Do we stick with that number? Do we move ahead with something further? And that's the way that I like to do it with all of the things that I do with my clients, because some people can do it all at once and get awesome results and be fantastic with it. But what I want to do is make sure you can implement these habits for the rest of your life. You've got the rest of your life. Does it matter if you don't achieve a massive transformation in 8 weeks? No, it doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I care about what it is that you're doing on a daily basis, because the byproduct of the daily actions gives you the transformation. That's how we get there. That really means a lot to me. So I'm going to leave it there. They're the 4 ways that I'm going about myself this week. Let's keep smashing what it is that we want to achieve in terms of our success for our health and wellness. Just remember, everything for me comes back to me being, and my focus being that glass in the middle, which is my health and wellness, and knowing that if I get that right, if I keep filling that up, then it will always spill over into the other areas of your life. Now, of course, the reverse is true. If that glass is empty, you're dead. you've got no energy or focus or anything, and so you're pretty much dead. If that glass is not full, then you don't have enough of the energy, the focus, the drive, all those other things to give to those other parts of your life, and that's most people. So then what happens is you say, well, I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it over here to one of these other things or a couple of these other things, and then guess what? The health gets worse. So if you can kind of just find that image in your mind, then you will find that you start to put all your focus into your health and wellness. It becomes your number one priority, and then you'll find that everything else just beautifully gets better as a result. I just love it. So have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.